What if I told you that the deadliest war since World War II didn't happen in Europe, the Middle East, or even Vietnam, but in the heart of Africa? A conflict so vast and brutal, it drew in 9 nations, dozens of armed groups, and left over 5 million dead, mostly from disease, famine, and displacement. This was the Second Congo War, often called Africa's World War, a struggle over power, resources, and survival that turned the Democratic Republic of the Congo into the epicenter of chaos at the turn of the 21st century. In this video, we'll journey through the origins, battles, alliances, betrayals, and human cost of this forgotten giant of modern history. If you're a fan of immersive history, buckle up, because this is the story few textbooks dare to tell. And before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. The seeds of war. The Second Congo War didn't begin out of nowhere. Its roots stretch back to the mid-1990s, when the Rwandan genocide unleashed chaos across Central Africa. In 1994, after the genocide of the Tutsi in Rwanda, more than 2 million Hutu refugees, including genocidaires responsible for the slaughter, poured into eastern Congo, then called Zaire. These refugee camps became armed strongholds, threatening the new Tutsi-led government of Rwanda. Meanwhile, Mobutu Sese Seko, Zaire's longtime dictator, provided little control, his corrupt regime on its last legs. In 1996, Rwanda and Uganda backed a rebel leader named Laurent Kabila, who launched the First Congo War. Within months, Mobutu was ousted, and Kabila marched into Kinshasa, renaming the country the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But the honeymoon didn't last. Kabila, once Rwanda's ally, grew increasingly defiant. He expelled Rwandan troops and advisors, accusing them of controlling his government. By 1998, his former backers turned against him, setting the stage for an even bloodier conflict. The outbreak, 1998. On August 2, 1998, the Second Congo War exploded. Rwandan and Ugandan forces invaded the DRC, supporting a new rebel movement, the Rally for Congolese Democracy, RCD. Their plan was swift: march on Kinshasa, topple Kabila, and install a puppet government. But this time, Kabila didn't stand alone. He rallied support from allies across the region, Angola, Zimbabwe, and Namibia, who feared the spread of Rwandan and Ugandan influence. Soon, 9 nations were embroiled in the war. The Congo, already massive, spanning an area larger than Western Europe, became the battlefield for Africa's biggest modern war, Africa's World War. The scale was staggering. Picture this: Rwanda and Uganda pushing from the east, seeking control over resource-rich provinces. Angola and Zimbabwe sending troops to defend Kabila in the west. Chad briefly joining in, while Sudan and Libya offered support. It was less a single war and more a continental free-for-all. Armies fought for territory, for resources, and for leverage in regional power struggles. Eastern Congo descended into absolute chaos. Militias multiplied, ethnic groups armed themselves, and civilians bore the brunt. Entire villages were massacred. Millions fled into the forests, sparking one of the worst humanitarian crises in modern history: the Resource War. At the heart of it all was Congo's immense wealth in natural resources: gold, diamonds, timber, and especially coltan, a mineral critical for electronics. Rebel groups and foreign armies alike looted these riches. Rwanda and Uganda funded their war efforts by extracting and smuggling minerals, while Zimbabwe's elites struck lucrative mining deals with Kabila. The Congo War wasn't just about ideology. It was about money, power, and control of the world's supply chains. Assassination and escalation. In January 2001, tragedy struck. President Laurent Kabila was assassinated in Kinshasa, allegedly by one of his bodyguards. His sudden death threw the country into shock. Into this chaos stepped his son, Joseph Kabila, just 29 years old. Many underestimated him, but Joseph would prove far more pragmatic than his father. He opened the door to peace talks, even as fighting raged in the east. Human cost behind the headlines of battles and politics was a catastrophe of human suffering. Unlike many wars, most of the 5 million deaths were not from bullets, but from disease, malnutrition, and displacement. Refugee camps overflowed. Rape was used systematically as a weapon of war, leaving entire communities shattered. Child soldiers were recruited by both rebel groups and militias. The war didn't just kill, it hollowed out the social fabric of one of the most resource-rich yet poorest nations on Earth. The path to peace. By 2002, exhaustion set in. Regional powers sought to cut their losses. Rwanda and Uganda, under international pressure, agreed to withdraw troops. The Sun City Agreement of 2002 paved the way for a transitional government. For the first time, rebels, opposition leaders, and the Kabila government shared power, at least on paper. By 2003, most foreign armies withdrew, officially ending the war. But peace was fragile. Eastern Congo remained plagued by militias, warlords, and resource-driven violence, a legacy that persists to this day. Legacy of the Second Congo War. The Second Congo War may not be widely remembered in the West, but its consequences still shape Africa. It transformed Rwanda and Uganda into regional powers. It entrenched corruption and resource exploitation in Congo's economy. It left scars of trauma that echo in ongoing conflicts in the Kivu provinces. And yet it also produced a rare example of resilience. Joseph Kabila's transitional government eventually led to the first democratic elections in Congo in 2006. Though imperfect, they were historic. The Second Congo War was more than just a regional conflict. It was a mirror of globalization's darkest side. Resources mined in Congo ended up in the phones and laptops we use today. The victims were millions of ordinary people caught in a struggle far larger than themselves. And yet, despite its scale, this war remains a forgotten war. A war that history buffs, scholars, and citizens of the world must remember, because its lessons on power, greed, and human resilience are as urgent now as ever. So, what do you think? Was the Second Congo War truly Africa's world war, or was it something even bigger, a warning about the cost of ignoring conflicts outside the West? Let's talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more immersive deep dives into the untold stories of history. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep history alive.